So they'll be calling you a radical. I've gotten to know these guys because they've been tearing all of Ogden down for a decade now. You know, they pulled the promontory power down. These are the same guys that tore the SWIP building down. It's not McKay. It's spelled McKay, Fawn McKay, Brody. It's Mackey. How about this beast? Max Ernest beast. So this gives me the perfect opportunity to talk about the difference between nuclear fission and fusion. Look at this Max Ernest beast. That is quite the tool, ain't it? And this place trips me out, you know. Max Ernest on Balco on chemo. It's amazing, right? You know, last night that video was something. I know it's long as hell, but I want to get as much footage of this as I possibly can because it is historic. There's nothing more visual and iconic in Ogden, Utah than the Farmers Grain Co-op white silos. When you're a child, every child, the first thing you visually see across the horizon, the landscape, I don't care if you're all the way out west, I don't care if you're all the way to the east, is this structure. It's incredible. So, oh my God. Yeah, I know my camera work's not the best. I mean, I'm one-man band, isn't Blanche, I try. That contraption's something else, isn't it? The great degenerate. Well, the great anti-artisan era. This cement is so high quality. It's incredible. Look at the rebar in here. You know, they've been on this for months. You know, and they know because they tore down promontory towers and they had to renegotiate the contract multiple times. This shit built in this area, oh, it was built. Something else, right? I want to get as much of this as I can because it's some kind of operation. That's quite the Max Ernest contraption, right? So I want to talk about nuclear fission versus fusion while we're doing this. So, I mean, people are so incredibly confused. Max Ernest tribute to. Remember when he used to do those giant beast contraptions clear back, oh, well over 100 years ago. So I want to talk about nuclear fission versus fusion, you know, the Fukushima disaster, because people have lost their minds. So let's talk about this. I remember doing an interview with John Anthony first, and a bunch of guys in Million Masters, you know, podcast was telling, well, you know, hydrogen, we can do nuclear with hydrogen. I said, no. You're wrong about that. It's the same byproduct. The H-bomb and the A-bomb creates the same byproduct. Now let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Nuclear fission. We do not split atoms. That term, I don't know where people come up with. You don't get out a knife and cut one in half. You don't chainsaw it, you don't anything. We smash them. In real terms, collide them? Oh yeah. Smash them? Yes. It's really versus, it's collide the atoms versus smash the atom. So, God, I hate to even move. Let's stay here and keep this going. I can walk and shoot gum. So, nuclear fission. Is it really fission? No. It's fission is smashing the atoms at incredible speeds. Now that's how we get the uranium-235 that we use in a nuclear reactor. Naturally, from the other is uranium-238. We smash them together. That's how the A-bomb here, Nagasaki, Hiroshima was an A-bomb, right? So, like I said, I know these guys because I've been videoing all this destruction and tearing down. These are the guys who do it. They told me we don't pronounce it McKay like Fawn McKay Brody, like David O. McKay, this famous name here. We pronounce it Mackey. So, experience matters, right? So, nuclear fission, fusion. So we, at incredible super speeds, we collide these atoms together. Now what happens when you collide the atom together at this incredible, you smash them together. Use centrifugal force going the opposite ways. That's how they developed the bomb, and that's how they did it. The exchange happens, and the atom exchange creates the detonation, which is so radical, so crazy. And what does it do? It creates a byproduct into our biosphere that is the most unnatural thing in the world because, well, it is that unnatural. It creates radioisotopes, including plutonium, cesium-137, strontium-90, really hundreds, if not thousands of them. Some of them we don't even know what they are. Planes, trains, and automobiles. We're discovering new ones every freaking week. Tennesseum, livermornium, californium, rest in peace. So, which I named plutonium because they're super, you know, plutonium to me at Fukushima, Japan is a plasma that's being released. The goal is to create a sun on Earth. I mean, that's how that thing works. It's a nuclear fission fusion event going on. Oh yeah, it can give you cancer from 93 milliwatt. You go to Livermore, California, and the signs all over say bringing star power to Earth. How about that contraption? It's something. I want to ask everybody, do you think Max Ernst or Jackson Pollock, well, maybe Picasso, Cubism, all of it, do you think if they had a YouTube camera they would have ever painted? I don't think they'd even owned a paintbrush. Oh my God, could you imagine? They're so far ahead of their time. So these guys are good guys. I've talked to them lots of times. Really good guys. You know, I've gotten known because they've torn down all Ogden last decade. You know what projects they've been on? Holy shit. And I'm always there videoing them. Watching the great anti-artisan movement is this great movement, build it up, and they tear it down. So, they collide the atom at super speed. It's not a splitting, and it bursts the spark. They smash it. So it's smashing versus squeezing. So, fission, fusion. Then the other process, which they use hydrogen. So what do? Is it a lesser? No, it's not lesser. It's just different. They force the hydrogen atoms together in such a radical, intense way, they squeeze them together. I mean, you just push them, such radical, crazy, intense pressure. I mean, giant amounts of pressure that the atom bursts apart. So whether it be fission versus fusion, you got the same byproduct. The result is the exact same thing. The atom bursts apart and creates this incredible, most unnatural thing in the world, energy. I mean, it's intense, it's radical. But there's a byproduct for them both, and the byproduct is the same thing. The byproduct for them both, leave it here, this is too cool. I mean, I could spend all day here. The byproduct for them both is the exact same thing. It leaves this radical, crazy, intense waste, byproduct, release of radionuclides that are unnatural to the Earth. I mean, ones we don't even know, but plutonium, the heavy, oh yes. Cesium-137, oh yes. Strontium-90, oh, I mean, hundreds of livermornium, California, Tennesseum, I go on and on and on and on and on. Fukushima's new. That is not smashing or colliding. That's creating a sun on Earth, bringing star power to Earth. You know, at Chernobyl, they entombed it and went around it, 780,000 men. At Fukushima, they didn't do nothing, so I've hypothesized that it was a gas. It's a nuclear plasma. It's a plasma energy never foreseen, like a sun. That's the goal, bringing star power to Earth. You know, in Korea, they just recently did a collider, super collider, where they got the temperature up to 100 million degrees for 38 seconds. Well, how hot do you think those cores are in Fukushima, Japan? The sun can give you cancer from 94 million miles away. Bringing star power up, so these cores, we can't get near them, we can't find them. They're pushed into the Pacific Ocean, which I called it a nuclear plasma, a gas. And I'm not the first one to freaking hypothesize that, but this is the first time that happened, which I named plutonium. It's a gas being pushed into the ocean. It's going to break the chain. You know, and I've proven it. I don't do theoretical physics. I don't do theoretical physics. I'm a biologist. So, the fact is this. The byproduct is the same on both. So Neil can go on and say, oh, these are different nuclear weapons. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're the same nuclear weapon. The byproduct is the same. Ask them at the Bikini Atolls. Now, we have smaller nuclear, it still doesn't matter. And if you don't believe me, you look at the SMR accident they had in Russia on 8/8/2019, when they're trying to smash one of these SMR colliders into a missile, and it blew up and killed all the nuclear physicists. Same thing that happened in Santa Susana. Same thing that happened in Idaho National Lab. The SMR is a fairy tale. It's the same lipstick on the same nuclear pig. So we do not split atoms. We do not split atoms. We do not split atoms. I don't know where they come up with that term. We smash them. The hydrogen process is a smashing process where we squeeze them and push them together at such radical, intense force that we burst the atom. So it's really collide the atom to where it bursts apart, or smash the atom to where it bursts apart. And when the atom bursts apart, it's the most unnatural thing in the world. It creates an exchange. It creates a heat source unforeseen in the history of mankind. I don't know. Do my best. One man band in isn't Blanche. Oh, look at this. Oh, God. Planes, trains, and automobiles. Look at that contraption. Holy shit. So, I was really surprised they didn't, use the explosives on this one. What a visual, right? I mean, I could stay here all day. I mean, it's so incredible. So, stay with me. So when Neil goes on, Bill Maher, and says that, oh no, and so Bill Maher used the hypothetical situation, which is very good hypothetical situation that he used, very logical, that what if we have an exchange? What if we have an exchange between India and Pakistan? Won't the radiation fall and spread around the globe? Oh, fuck yes, it will spread around the globe. It's like Fukushima. There's one ocean. We can name them different things, but they're all connected. There's one Earth. There's one jet stream. And so, yeah, and he says, no, these nuclear weapons aren't here. He's full of fucking shit. By the way, he's a astrophysicist, which is not a scientist. I mean, astrophysics has been proven over and over and over is philosophy. It's philosophy. It's philosophy. That was proven by Einstein and crew. Remember Einstein? Einstein's theories were proven. His theory of relativity is very rare, based on gravity, based on light bending. But remember Braun did his work on photons? And remember his work on photons? You shoot a photon, a star, a comet, a meteor, and he hypothesized that you record it it would show up in two different places the opposite directions. Einstein says, well, that's impossible. He says, you mean to tell me if you're looking at the moon at night, it's probably not dark on the other side? And he says, well, maybe. So Einstein wrote a paper about it and called it Spooky Science at a Distance. And as time went on, that hypothesis by Braun was proven to be right, because they've taken super telescopes around the world, and they've done it with stars and light from billions of years, and they've set up thousands of miles away from each other, and they're recorded at the exact same moment. When you shoot that way, it's going to show up there, right? That's Einstein. How can it show up there at the exact same time? But it does. So that's when Einstein came to the conclusion, give it up on your so-called theoretical. I remember being in my class, theoretical physics, when I was young. I was 16 years old at the University of Indiana. I remember telling the professor, I says, well, we can't call this science. I says, it's been debunked so many times because of Einstein's spooky science at a distance. And no, you're right. And I remember he says, no, I agree with you. This should be taught in the philosophy department. Now, there's things inside the, astronomy, the study of astronomy that we can prove. But that's not what theoretical astrophysicists do. Now, I guess I'm somewhat of a plasma physicist. I've hypothesized, but I'm a biologist because I do the work and prove, just like Einstein proved his. The theory of relativity, which people get confused on that because the C is Latin, means speed. And it got proven by Eddington. Eddington proved it. The Quaker. So, fission versus fusion. We get the exact same byproduct, and I don't care how small the nuclear weapon is, or how big the nuclear. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, the Bikini Atolls, they're the same byproducts. They're the same results. It radiates the globe. And this is so third grade what he said. It's a disgrace to a third grader. Because we use what we call back-down levels, right? Which blows my mind because Noah keeps track of background. Well, what do you think a background level is? We track the background levels. From where? All nuclear weapons testing. The Nevada test site, 350 open-air tests, which killed my father. He was human lab rat and nuked in the Nevada test. And I get cancer. I'm a walking, talking experiment in nuclear. So we know from the 350 Bikini out, how about all the nuclear weapon testing France did? And dumping. How about all that the UK did down under Australia? They've been taking, including still in Russia. How about the Polygon? Ask the Marines that were staged there to Afghanistan. Ask them, they're coming home full of cancer. They're still testing. Putin's still testing. So is the U.S. The U.S. just does it underground. So we know because we keep track of that. No one keeps track yet. What about Fukushima? Not our job. Oh, really? So, but you keep track of we call it bioaccumulation. We call it the background levels. And they've increased since, the nuclearism in 1930. They keep increasing. And we can tell because we keep track of that. Again, Ken Buesler's work, which he lied about. I'm the guy that leaked that study out, the KOK study from the Hawaiian boats. First sample set, 40 kilometers off the coast of Fukushima, 300 kilometers down into the water column. That's the Japanese current, which flows into the California current. The bridge from Fukushima, Japan landed at Gold Beach on day 7, a bridge you drive on. So, first sample set 3 times the background level. Second sample set 50 times. Whoa. Third sample 1,000 times. Now Buesler's saying that when they got over there, there were 1,000. Now you know that God, it's a Brontosaurus Rex. Talk about, whoa, what a shot that is. I can walk and chew gum at the same time. Now abusers are saying when they got over there, the background levels were millions of times. Millions of times. Well, we know that the byproduct cesium-130, we know there was a nuclear event happen. Was it fission? Was it fusion? Oh yeah. I mean, that's what goes on inside those cores. But it's contained. It got out. And then those suns just kept heating hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter because they weren't contained and they were not controlled anymore. As Einstein said, when that happened, all bets are off. Every living thing on Earth will be, you know, and I can't even talk where I think the demic came from, but you all know. So, when I hear him say foolish shit like that, I mean, it's just that bullshit. I mean, it's been proven over and over and over. The Atomic Veterans Study by the Department of Energy on their own Marines. God, it's a Brontosaurus Rex. He's gone crazy. I mean, it's Max Ernst right here. It's Max Ernst. Remember Max Ernst did those incredible paintings in 1911? You know, back then with those futuristic looking contraptions. You know, beasts. So I'm glad I got over here. I was up seeing my heart doctor today on my pacemaker. You know, I've been battling nuclear since I was born. My dad died. He was living right, and then I got leukemia 2011 AML de novo, a death sentence. This is the business I grew up. My grandpa, Abraham Sector IV, I used to go to work with my dad. You know, and I grew up in this business. Those sand pits up in Brigham City. You know, me and Jack Parsons and Abraham Sector IV. Oh boy. What a beast. What a contraption this guy's got himself, all right? Something else. So, nuclear fission versus nuclear fission and fusion. One is colliding. They don't split atoms. They collide them together at incredible centrifugal forces, speeds, incredible speeds. That's how we get uranium-235. Uranium-238 that comes naturally from the Earth is not what's in a nuclear energy reactor. Uranium-238, it leaves a nasty, huge byproduct, 97% byproduct. And it's full of free radicals. Do you know what a free radical is? Free radicals versus post-ignorance. Do you understand what a free radical is? You get that. You do know what a free radical is. Plutonium. All these set isotopes. Now, I tell my grandsons, because they're superior athletes, they're something else, that whole herd is them 2011ers. So I call them the Fukushima kids. Hulk Hogan was made from plutonium, right? Yeah. How about Spider-Man? Wasn't that experimenting with nuclear? Yeah, and it bit him. So I says, these kids, their mothers were nursing mothers, all these kids born, they were born that month right after Fukushima happened. I says, you got plutonium in you. That's why you're such beasts. And they're beasts. And I'm telling you, they're beasts. Glad I got over here. I'll stay on this. Like I said, I know these guys because I've gotten to know them because I've been documenting all this historic coming down. There's a guy videoing. Richard, one of the old timers. I'm glad. I was hoping there were other people who got better camera than me. You know, but I can walk and chew gum. So, we do not split atoms. We smash atoms. We squeeze them. So the difference between fission and fusion is just accurate. Smashing, colliding, and squeezing them. And they produce the exact same thing. Radioactive. Radioactive. Load me on the fucking prison bus. I've been in prison for 13 years. Cancer prison. I've been in cancer prison for 13 years. 2011, I got stuck. I've never been to the top of the bone marrow transplant center at LDS and saying, because I'm quarantined in it. That place is horrible. And I says, I remember telling one of my nurses and my doctor, I says, this is like being in prison on death row for a crime you did not commit. But this has got to be worse than prison. And they're like, why do you say that? And I says, they got to have better food in prison than here. And they laugh. That's exactly what it's like. And I've been in this prison. Sleep and dream is all I crave. I traveled across the nuclear fission Milky Way. To this cancer master I became a slave. Oh boy, till we meet again some other day. Eddie, 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 Eddie. It's a T-Rex, right? It looks just like a dinosaur, doesn't it? Doesn't it look like, I mean, that great Godzilla art out of Japan in the day. Oh boy, right? Oh, I mean, God, if I wish I, had enough money, I'd talk these guys into putting that King Kong up there. They'd probably do it. They would do it. I know these guys, they're great. I think it's irony because Paul McKay, who exposed the truth, the great foreign from here, that's the name of the demo company. The airport's right there. I stuck with the tower at the airport. I could tell you some of the things I did in that tower, but I won't. Woo! Talk about Freddie. Yeah, I know. I was pretty bad that way when I was young. I don't know if it was bad or good. You ever read East of Eden? Remember the kid that went off to war? Remember the other boy? I used to trade cattle futures right over there. Remember how the other boy asked me, who was supposedly the bad son, which was most likely, that was me. I mean, to a T. I think about some of the shit I did. Woo! Whoa. I was saying about it yesterday, God, you were bad. I don't know if that was bad, but it was good. It was fun, I know that. Oh my God, look at T-Rex go now. Oh, he's getting high. The dinosaur's getting high. Speaking of the raptors, I saw Baggett today that said hi. Talk about the Ogden Raptors, right? God, I could stay here all day, every day. So cool, right? They say autistic kids like trains. I'm not autistic. I got diagnosed with that when I was real little. But right over here, who lived just right down the road, Olene Walker, our first family, she grew up right over by me, right down the road. Wilson. Her mother was my second grade teacher. Her auntie was my first grade, T.O. Smith's. She's the one that told my grandma he's not autistic. He's not. He's on the spectrum. Oh boy, is he. I had some issues when I was young. I probably still do, don't we all? But that big brain just goes all the time. It's hard to cope. I like this kind of stuff. I always have. I can watch it for all day. Go to work with my dad, my grandpa. I remember my grandpa when they were tearing down the Weaver High on 12th. He was so pissed. He refused to even bid it. And he's like, he warned him. I says, I warned both contractors. He says the wrecking ball was bouncing off. That's what these guys told me on this. They told me the wrecking ball is laying right there. It's laying right over there. And they told me we tried the wrecking ball. And they did. They says the wrecking ball just bounced off. Look at this. Oh, look at the dinosaur go now. I hope I'm getting that. Of course I should be. One man band. There's another guy video on an old timer over there. It's incredible, right? It's absolutely incredible watching this dinosaur work. Talk about the Ogden Raptors, right? Wow. I hope I'm here when the actual sign gets taken. It'll be a while. You know, you can see how tedious this process is. I really thought that they would implode it. Well, you remember how long it took them on the Swift building, and I was there every day. I remember I delayed some of my tide pulling just for that very reason. Is that an F-35? Oh yeah, here they come. Now there's a metaphor. Get your screen captures out. And if anybody wants to use any of my footage, any of you, you're welcome to use any of it. I will never copyright anybody for any. I don't care if you even call me every name in the book and slander my work, whatever. Go ahead. You know, I don't believe in the whole copyright thing. I don't believe in it. I mean, I tucked my hair up under my hat and I went in to ask them why. You put up a fence to keep me out, to keep Mother Nature in. Oh boy. I don't believe in any of it. I don't. I like the animals. I like architecture. I love this building. So incredibly well done. I love the artisan. I mean, I was a plaster for all those years, obsessed with it. I built the tree in the Children's Museum. That's Laughing Clouds. I did that. Not a crew, me. I hand chiseled and restored the 1905 Masonic Temple on Washington Boulevard. 4 months, 7 days a week. Me, not a crew. Me, myself, and I. First they come to the grass. It's incredible, right? Absolutely incredible. Hate to leave, but got to get some work done. Oh, he's up on top now. Dinosaur's going right in the head now. So, nuclear fission versus fusion. They both leave the exact identical byproduct. And it's radioactive as hell. They're radioisotopes. They're called free radicals. Remember all that? The paintings, free radicals versus post. Now, free radicals has a dual meaning, right? Yeah, they're cancer cells. But is it really a dual meaning? Or they're radionuclides, isotopes that are released from a nuclear fission or fusion event. They're called free radicals, right? Yeah, plutonium, Hulk, Spider-Man, Fukushima. Incredible. God, I don't want to leave, but I got some work I got to get done. I put in a lot of hours, 7 days a week. I'm relentless. Always have been. Because I'm not going to stop, you know, because there's nobody out there to do this like I do it. The truth has to be told. Kevin, I'm a biologist. I mean, my tide pool work alone proves it. You know, I hypothesize, but I did 13 years of field work, and I don't go for scientists who are mystified. They're baffled. They're curious. They're stumped. They're alarmed. I don't do that. I hypothesize the knowledge. In science, what I'm doing right here, we call this observation. Field observation. In a real PhD, you hypothesize the knowledge, then you go do your field observation. How about my tide pool work alone? 13 years of it. While I'm full of cancer dying. Think about that one. Talk about field work. Got him a snake there, don't he? Yeah, dog, pulling on it. The snake's putting up a fight. He's dug in. He's dug in like a horseshoe crab in the mud with his 10 eyes. Horseshoe crabs, by the way, are 450 million. They predate dinosaurs. They save our lives, too. When the red knots come and feed on them, how about the red knot and the horseshoe crab? Oh, yeah, they're tight. Look at him pull this thing out. What's he got a hold of? He got a hold of something, don't he? Keep your camera up, Kev. He's got a hold of something he's tugging on. You got it. You got it. I don't know what it is. A piece of metal of some sort. Can they eat it? Actually, you got them goat across there. Some of the sounds you hear when you're out about blow your mind. You never believe there's a goat in that yard. That ain't a yard. Used to be the really coolest house sitting right there. They just tore it down right where the hole is. All the dinosaurs getting up in the top. Come on, Cat, stay with me. Stay with me. How cool is this? I'm gonna stay on this. It's so cool. And then, as soon as I get done here with my video, soon back to dead tide pool jumping, because I'm training for the Olympics 2024. I got the gold medal in 2021. Back to the training facility in Monterey, California, in La Jolla, California. Dead tide pool jumping, Bob Beebum Blanche, world record holder, gold medalist. I have my gold medal on. Always. He's up in the top of it. He's getting busy, that freaking Brontosaurus Rex. T-Rex, excuse me. I mean, every time I start thinking about science and I start thinking about our contemplating our existence and our being, my mind goes to the dinosaurs. And it just starts to blow my mind. I mean, you think about it, how about just 18,000 years ago, 600-pound beavers, mastodons, 600-pound saber-toothed mountain lions, northern camels, right here, 18,000 years ago. You start to run your mind around that, and it will blow your mind. So, Einstein's work was proven. We can't get a video for more than a half hour without sound at the military industrialist war pigs. Our wings we will pretend, because that's what a military industrialized war pigs, the anti-artisans, are made of. And in the end, is there an end? Or just other beginnings? Dinosaurs up there. Hate to leave it. What a visual. You never get another visual like this the rest of your life. And when it's over, I always think to myself, when I do a video, and that's why I always use the visual genre, because I know that's what changes. Written words didn't change shit. The visual genre changes. Will this video be relevant 5 years from now? Will it be relevant 10 years from now? Will it be relevant 50 years from now? Will it be relevant 100 years from now? Well, it surely cannot be duplicated. Because I do them on location. I do the field work. And in the end, our wings we will pretend. So the difference between nuclear fission and fusion, they have the same byproduct because the result is the exact same thing. We collide the atom in centrifugal forces at incredible speed, stand on the state line, turn uranium-238 into, it leaves a nasty byproduct. Radioactive. And then, or we, not as heavy metal style to start with, but it leaves the exact result. We smash them. We push them together, the hydrogen. We force it together at such radical, incredible, intense force that it bursts the atom. They both burst the atom, and they both let off the exact identical thing, the new radionuclides, the new radioisotopes. And I'm doing that interview with this idiot, and John Anthony had me on. He's, oh, well, we can, you know, these, Mommy told me I was smart. They saw it on the internet, learned. They don't know shit. I've been at this my entire life, including formally, including field-wise. I mean, I have formal credentials up the yin yang. I was the guy at the #1 school of business in the United States, bar none. And so, I don't eat, sleep, drink it. I sleep with it. I got cancer. I was given too much. I spent 5 years in a bone marrow transplant unit. I've had open heart surgery twice, including this year. I lost my gallbladder. I lost my teeth. I lost my money. I was kicked off. I mean, I've dealt with it. I mean, like I said, I don't eat, sleep, drink it, which I did before. I sleep with it. Incredible, right? Oh, I can smell it now. The wind's blowing this way a little bit. Some kind of process. That's quite the freaking dinosaur up there, isn't it? He's got him all the way up there. He's tearing the freaking shack off the top. That's where the people were. Oh, there's the goat right there. I can see. God, that has a whole new dimension to it. Sound. But I've always known that the visual genre, I mean, what do you think they use? Why do you think cinema impacts people so dramatically? Why do you think they use subliminal messages? TV, I mean, thousands of times the written word or the spoken word. I know what I'm doing. I do know what I'm doing. Change the world? Oh, yeah, I already have. Who do you think took NewScale down? Who do you think took Sin and Humphrey down? The influencer of the influencer, Kevin Blanche. Oh, my God, what a visual. Right? Oh, my God, what a visual. I know I'm not the best cameraman in the world. I admit it. But I'm one-man band Blanche. I always thought I'd get a publicist. I always thought I'd get some lawyers. I got me. We. Kevin D. From the sea. It's the ecology. So when you smash these atoms, the door's flying open. Raccoon's gonna run out. Isn't that a visual? Look at this. There goes the door. That's something else, right? Never seen a demo quite like this. Never. I said they tried the wrecking ball. I talked to him. It's bouncing off. I know I'm not the best cameraman. I fully admit. Now my typo work is good. I had that iPad for all those years. And you know, I just go. And I kept it in raw organic form. Well, that's what you have to. You can't zoom in and say, oh, look, I found something. No, you have to keep it a real PhD. So I'll tag this Fission versus Fusion. Fukushima. What a project. Well, like I said, I could video and stay here all day. But I got to go back up to the doctor and get my results. They switched my meds. You know, so good. It's been a battle, right? Staying alive. Staying alive. Talk about enter a prison. In 2011, just one day, October 13th, 2011, the freight train hit me. out of the blue. I was in perfect shape, called cancer. The university could have paid for my treatment. They didn't. Remember, I had you buying all that Tesla stock and Apple stock and made everybody rich? I had over $1 million of it in 2011. What do you think that would be worth today? I had to fork it over to get in. And then I went into the greatest, well, I've tried to make the most of it, but a radical, intense fight to stay alive for 13 years. You know, I had no chance. I have AML de novo with a marker of 44, which is unsurvivable. Average lifespan of it's less than 90 days. You know, and I didn't have a transplant. I was too sick. I walked the coast. Everybody thought I'd die out there, but, you know, they used an experimental chemo on me. I have 4 tattoos on me. I had very light radiation. I was Dr. Thompson, an LDS last patient. But Bimbo Peterson and Vincent, the 2 world famous oncologists, saved me, called me the biggest miracle. Dr. Goff calls it Kevin Blanch's favorite famous heart. It took out my aortic valve and nobody'd fix me. Nobody'd work on me. Michael Hawkins and Dr. Rachel told me to go see my dentist. I collapsed. My aortic valve was collapsed. I knew it. But I was out of money. I got kicked out Medicaid by Mike Lee after. They wouldn't treat me. So finally, emergency surgery. They replaced my aortic valve in 2017. Mayday, 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 which will be 6 years ago tomorrow. I had open heart surgery, and I never felt like it worked. Connors did it, and I was in AFib. I was having a problem with the electrical system from the chemo then, and they would go down my throat and shock me, which is horrible. I mean, of course, it suffered the whole time. It's shooting in my back, even when I'm tied full. I remember being in Monterey in the middle of the night, having to get up and walk up the hill. That's when that big buck come up and touched me. And I looked at the clock on the market, and it was 12:12. No, that's my number, because that's when I survived. So, hope we got that. So, this guy will pull right in front of me. Watch. He doesn't even see me. Guarantee he doesn't even see me. Look at this guy. You know, it was a big thing. Bigfoot's was a big thing around here. The bar was the best bar in the history of the country. I'm telling, well, the Western United States right over there, Bigfoot's. You know, right here in River, everybody claims they saw Bigfoot all the time. So, my gallbladder went 6 years ago right now. 2018. God, that's been 7 years, hasn't it? Yeah, since the open heart surgery. 7 years. The open heart surgery. Tomorrow. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. And so, it was always bothering me shooting. And I kept telling Collado and them, it's my heart. I'm going in there talking to him, saying, no, it's not. It's a neuropathy. No, it's my heart. I come from a family of heart gardeners. I went to med school for a while. I mean, the change Dr. Goff's my uncle. What a great, God, he was pissed at me, kicking the can. But Dr. Goff saved my life. We just had this conversation about him today. Thank God for him. He was a football player at Weber State, Ogden High. He saved my life, and he told me, he says, no, you're right, Kevin. It ripped on Christmas Eve. I had 2 heart attacks, and major, nasty, and they wouldn't even believe it. So, sure as shit, when he opened me and got in, he says that valve was all clogged up, gummed up. It tore your top 3 roots to hell. I had to harvest one out of your leg because the tattoo's on you. I went through your, and I bypassed one of them. I showed closed. I have a pacemaker now, but he says I fixed it. And I feel like he did. I'm still battling blood pressure. You know, I mean, fuck. You know, I ran into this beautiful, incredible young woman at the hospital the other day. Her brother was helping me change a tire. Told me who her dad was. I said, God, I grew up with your dad. He'd had to fall off a ladder. I went to school with him. And he, really beautiful, incredible young woman. And she says, yeah, I got thyroid cancer when I was young. And she says, believe it or not, I was only 10. She says, I have a pacemaker. No. Yeah. You know, she's very young, you know, in her 30s. We got enough of it? I can stay here all day. It's incredible, right? It's absolutely incredible. Never get a visual like this again, so I'm going to make the most of it. About all the airplanes. One was by my son-in-law. That's what he does out here. My grandson, Grandpa, my daughter's like, hey, baby Kev's got something to tell you. You know, the March 2011 model, the Fukushima, he's a beast. Both of them are. They're a week apart. What's that, little guy? He says, what's that? And he pointed from over his house. I says, that white big thing you can see? Yeah. He keeps asking me what it is. I says, that's a farmer's grain co-op. Those are grain silos. You know what grain? And then I explained and talked to him about what a farmer's co-op was. It's the first thing anybody sees when they're a child here. I don't care if you're out west, because across the landscape, Max Ernest. So I hope I explained a little bit of nuclear fission versus fission. When Neil says that it doesn't spread radiation across the globe, that's a bold-faced lie. Of course it does. Nuclear weapons are the same as they've always been. They're smaller, they're retooled, but they're smashing the atom or colliding the atom. Fission versus fusion leaves the exact same byproduct, and it's radioactive. And there's a jet stream that goes around the Earth, and there's ocean currents. Fukushima. Should we shut it off? Keep it going? It's incredible, right? Gotta flip your soup can. Yeah, for sure. The video last night, how about that one? I know they're long videos. You got a life to live, but someday maybe you can watch them. Mexico City. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. They play football there, both kinds. For real, for real. They don't have nuclear reactors in Mexico, do they? They have one. On the Gulf side. One. Concrete specialties right there. That's where I used to get a lot of my products. I've got 10,000 plus cement plaster jobs here, including the tree in the Children's Museum. That's my handprint when you kids walk up. That thing's Fort Knox, boy. I built that out of lathette plaster interior. 1905, so I have 10,000 of them in this town. You really cannot drive down the street that I don't have them. So let's cut it off here. Let's do one last tribute to Max Ernest. I hope that helped you out on nuclearism. Nuclear fission and nuclear fusion, we do not split atoms. I don't know where they come. You don't take a knife, cut one out. We centrifugal force them, and we collide them at super speeds, and we burst them. And then we leach with X gas out uranium-238, which we put in pellets, in rods, and wrap around the cores, western zirconium on Balco, and the exchange. Then we induce the exchange. On a nuclear bomb, that's on the A-bomb, what they do. They have an exchange, it's all ready to go in there, and then they pull the one plug, which fires it into the other one, and it creates the exchange together, and it creates such a radical, intense force. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. H-bomb, Bikini Atolls, doesn't matter. So they smash it. It's smashing the hydrogen mountains. They smash it. They push them together with this apparatus. And it pushes, and the force is so radical and intense, forcing them together, it bursts the atom and creates this incredible, unnatural, the most unnatural man-made force in the history of mankind. Jackson Pollock. How can I continue to paint in old ways post along? You know, Popo, I'll be dropped, they never stop. Robert Downey Jr. holding the Oscar to the second 13 years from the greatest nuclear disaster in human history, Fukushima. And they'll still tell you one at Chernobyl is more than 3 cores at Fukushima. Okay, Winston, more Thor one thing. So that's what the difference is. One is smashing the atom, the other is colliding the atom. Smash versus collision, they both burst and they create new elements into plutonium. Well, that's different. Fukushima, the fission event there. Fukushima is the sun. And I don't do hypotheses. I'm not a theoretical physicist. I'm a biologist. I do the tide pool work, I do the salmon work, I do the well work, and we use statistical probability. We have computer models now. We know unarguably, factually, Kevin Blatch was right. There was a major outliner in 2011. We know that. It's unarguable. We know that something radically happened in the Great Pacific Rim. The heat bubble of the Western United States, 2011. The plutonium fires, 2011. The whale starvation collapse, the blob, 2011. Wasting disease started 2011, 2012. Well, what caused wasting disease? Oh, global. You tell me global warming started in 2011, I don't think so. How about the salmon collapse? Chinook salmon go to sea for 5 years. They collapsed on cue in 2016, just like I said. Still had to go to sea for 1 to 2 years. They collapsed immediately in 2012. How about the starvation event being verified off Kevin Blatch's work now by the scientists? It was caused by starvation, which I'm the only one saying that for decades. It started in 2012. It was caused by the plankton disappearing. Big fish eat little fish. How about the blob? It was caused by the blob. Okay, I'm the first guy that reported. I'm the guy that named it. I named it. All that. You can ignore my work. You just can't wrap your mind around there's a guy like me. You just can't make it. So Max Ernest. Remember when he used to do those creatures? Modern-day dinosaur up there, right? Looks just like a T-Rex to me. Don't you? Incredible. Like I said, they tried the wrecking ball first. I talked to him. Well, I was here. I was videoing it. It was bouncing off. We'll leave it there. What a video. So nuclear fission versus fusion, they leave the same byproduct. They don't split the atom. And he says that there's no global fallout from the modern day nuclear weapon. What a fucking lie. What a lie. Of course there is. Fucking. All right. The dinosaur's going all the way up again. Is he gonna reach? Is he gonna reach? He's all the way reaching as far as he can reach, ain't he? I know my camera work's not the best. Again, you feel free to use any of my footage any way you want. I don't care. I really don't. I would never file a copyright claim against anybody, no matter what. You know, the slanders, even when we prove that they hired teams of trolls to slander me, and Facebook pages, YouTube just 100% went up. We're filling. They're never going to do anything about that. They're going to let them do whatever they want to me. That's been proven. I have no allies. I know that. I know that. I mean, it's a lonely fight. But that's okay. It is what it is. Stay in tune.